But Bangladeshis, they're very suspicious. So they said, no. Even for pipeline they did not allow. They said when your pipeline goes through, somehow you would pick up our gas also.
Oh,
But now situation has changed.
now better.
We have put up a plant. ONGC, ILFS have put up a Tripura gas plant, which is generating about 360 megawatts already, and second turbine also has gone into. Second has also gone. So about 700 megawatt. And they are selling 100 megawatt to Bangladesh. So now I was telling them there is more gas in Tripura, and more than Tripura, please take gas from Bangladesh, sell power to them.
Correct.
More power. So even if their power problem solves, at least we don't have to use our resource for their power, their own resource for their power.
That's
We can do that. And with Nepal, for hydro, we haven't done anything. And I don't think any hydro project can come up now. I was in Japan when Sardar Sarovar project funded by World Bank and Japan
That's right.
went into problem. And I saw that no international agency will give any assistance to any of your hydro plants now. It is only China that can manage them. China at that time was working on Three Gorges Dam, which was huge, much more bigger than Sardar Sarovar.
Right.
Many times bigger. Millions of people evacuated, transferred, this, that, etc.
Yeah.
But they managed because they are close. Whatever they decide they can do. We can only take decisions, not do. They take decisions, they go ahead and do it. And unmindful, they have completed the do. I mean, it's a long-term thing. After 100 years, people will say whether it was the right thing or not. But they went ahead and did it.
But I
We
think-
cannot now. No big power plant we can set up now.
But sir, if you look at it,
So-
Itaipu was successful. If we have a logic here, Itaipu is the largest project before that in Brazil, 12,600
Whatever
megawatt.
it is, in India you cannot do now.
नहीं, मैं बता रहा हूँ,
Because
sir.
as far as the shale gas is concerned, again, you cannot do in India. You can do in Bhutan, maybe you can do in Arunachal, some small project
That's right,
here and there you can do. But where there is a large population settlement, you cannot do now hydro project. Even in Nepal, you are unable to do. So why go somewhere else? I have been in Uttarakhand and I have seen, Kali Nadi, the project going on for the last 30 years, Karnali project going on for the last 50 years, nothing has happened. So we can't think of any hydro project. You see, it's a very serious matter. I sometimes feel very upset about it. Energy, without energy you cannot progress.
Correct.
92% of energy is fossil fuel, of which, except coal, we have no resource. Basically, we have no resource.
Yes, exactly.
And coal we have messed up.
Yeah.
We have messed up coal. The energy security lies in development of coal and nuclear.
Correct.
See the countries that do not have hydrocarbon. You see France, you see China. China has much more hydrocarbon than we have. China is going in a big way both for nuclear and for renewable.
That's right.
And that it is because of China that the renewable prices have come down. Because
Correct.
they are building huge capacity.
Absolutely.
But I don't know how we are going. What we are going to do. How we can do. Except going for, of course, renewable, please keep doing everything that we can. And, in the last 5-6 years, the prices have come down really.
Yeah, for
particularly
sure.
on solar, very significantly.
Yeah.
But, it is again, we think that we have very good solar radiation, which is not so. Yeah? Our solar radiation, in fact, we set up one engine here in the solar energy center, we set up an engine. And it didn't work well.
But that was solar thermal, sir.
Solar
वो तो नहीं चलेगा, sir.
वो चला नहीं
वो चलेगा ही नहीं.
because the DNI here was not good. And
वो चलेगा ही
because
नहीं,
of pollution.
नहीं, सोलर थर्मल नहीं चलेगा सर.
वो
मैंने
तो
सरकार
बिल्कुल
को
नहीं
बोला था सोलर थर्मल मत करो.
सोलर
अभी
थर्मल
दुबे साहब नहीं
तो
है.
चल ही नहीं रहा.
अगर मैं आपको ये बात
हाँ.
उठाऊं, सर मैंने
Solar
पहले
thermal
10 साल
नहीं
पहले
चल
बोला
रहा
था.
है. What you can do is, of course, and the solar problem is that you need land. So where is so much of land?
Exactly.
You need about 5 acres for every megawatt or something. Where do you have so much of land? Except maybe Gujarat, Kutch and some areas of Rajasthan. Similarly, for shale oil, you cannot do a shale gas and oil in India. France has banned it. Germany also is not doing. France has, in fact, they have imposed ban. You see, you are dependent on underground water for everything.
Water.
And high density of population dependent on underground water. If they inject some liquid and do something, and then some people, they die.
Just enough for pandemonium to break out.
Yes, the whole program will go out of the window. So unless they select an area where people are not dependent on underground water and take some measures to insulate that area from the other water aquifers, it is very difficult. So I don't see very much hope for shale gas in India. I mean, the policy still in pipeline. They have asked only Oil India and ONGC to drill some pilot projects and make something. But I do not foresee much prospect there. So what do? We have to work with Iran, Qatar on this side, and Bangladesh and Myanmar on the other side. It has, but firstly, it is on the Malaysian-Indonesian peninsula.
That's the Indian Ocean rim.
So, for Brunei, it is a large deposit because it is sitting on that. It's a small country. It is smaller than Singapore, but whatever it has goes to Japan, China, etc. They have already tapped. I mean, it is not for a country like India. What is it? Very small. Russia, yes. In fact, OVL is a partner in Sakhalin project, which gives gas also apart from oil. But bringing LNG all the way from Sakhalin to India is not worthwhile. Our LNG, you see, there are three components of LNG pricing. Firstly, liquefaction. Second is transportation. Third is gasification. When the price was $2.53 per million BTU for liquid LNG from Qatar, the transportation was about 30 cents and the liquefaction was about 20 cents. So in 50 cents to 60 cents, you could, from 2.53 there, here from 3 point something, you could give the gas. And then there were issues like VAT, due to which the price used to go up further. There was central VAT, state VAT. So now I think they have reduced. So therefore, my suggestion is we should preempt, LNG in Qatar, they have created the facility. USA is not buying. Much of the facility was created for USA also. USA is not buying at all. Only Japan and Korea are the biggest purchaser. China is a purchaser, but China has developed pipeline from Kazakhstan. See, China has advantages that we do not have. China is neighbor to Central Asian republics. We are not. China has pipeline from Kazakhstan. It is developing pipeline from other Central Asian republics.
Even from Russia, sir.
And even it's a neighbor of
Russian pipeline has come.
So all the Siberia, where Russia has rich resources, in fact, this gas is also going to China. The Sakhalin gas is going to China.
Yes, for sure.
You see? So China has great advantages. We don't have. What is our advantage is that we are comparatively closely placed to Middle East, and also these are not very rich countries, Myanmar and Bangladesh. So after some time they will have nothing.
Correct.
But we are unable to do business with them. So what to do? We had hydro potential from Nepal, we couldn't do anything. We had gas potential from Qatar and Iran, we couldn't do anything. We had gas potential, some little from Bangladesh and Myanmar, we couldn't do. So what will we do? I sometimes feel very worried. Unless there is a big breakthrough in renewables and nuclear, how will India progress? Where will India go? Yeah, I said so.
Renewables have only solar, for example. Our peak energy demand is 7 p.m.
Absolutely.
Solar doesn't work at that time.
So we have to go for coal.
Backing down is only possible if you have gas stations or you have hydro stations. And none of that is happening. So therefore, I find this other sibling not,
therefore, coal gas
is going to impact solar also.
Therefore, coal either directly or through gas, coal gasification. Then maybe the pressure on you, the international pressure on you about reducing carbon emission, you can to some extent take care. So coal and coal gas, and get natural gas as much as you can by liquefied mode, by transportation through pipeline or anything. Otherwise, long term is very difficult. All of us will have to take sannyas and go to hills.
Power Trading Corporation had traded about 500 megawatts power with Bangladesh. So 250 was on commercial principles and 250 was on the, you can say the ministry had identified that particular rate. Now they have desired more 500 megawatt with Bangladesh, and I think a lot of bids are going on and it is in the process of working out. So we can have such type of barter system, like we can have gas from there and we can...
They don't give gas. Therefore, I am saying that we have now established our credentials, that we are your well-wisher.
Right.
Most of Bangladeshis, even after the independence of Bangladesh, don't think so. But we have to establish our credentials that we are your well-wisher. Once having established and selling them both from Tripura and also from this side, Bengal side, now any more power, we should tell them that look, we want to do, but we are also suffering. So you give us gas, we will convert. And conversion charges, we work out. So whatever gas you give, they can give gas to Tripura power plant. More units can be set up there and get back to power.
And
I'll tell you. I'll tell you.
Why we are not drilling in
I'll
Bay of
tell you.
Bengal,
I'll tell you.
so that we can get more ONGC and other things.
No, some drilling did take place. You see, the problem that is there in Bay of Bengal is so much of silt comes from both Ganga and Brahmaputra.
That's right.
That whatever you drill today, when you leave for monsoon time, because that is a time 3-4 months, you cannot work 4 months. When you come back, you find that everything is gone. So, I think, Russian companies did that, then they left. Bay of Bengal, therefore, is very difficult. Round about Andamans is a better possibility. And in fact, even Myanmar, their gas is on the Andaman Sea side. So Andamans there is a possibility, and there are some people who say that Andamans is an extension of even Indonesian deposit.
That's right.
So there is more drilling required in Andamans. For defense reasons, they have not given Andamans openly to many companies, but some work has started there. I only hope, we have all kinds of considerations. There were turtles who
Right.
what
Crossing
turtles
over.
they're called.
The rare ones.
There's some name of some turtles.
Right.
So they nest near Puri and Mahanadi. There, this is called northeastern deposits. There are deposits there. And because those, firstly, you cannot work in monsoon season. Then these turtles come and they lay their eggs. So environmental clearance was not given. Then there is a missile center further north. From Puri you come to Balasore, there is a missile center. They test. So they say that we cannot coordinate. We just don't know how to coordinate. They say we will not coordinate with you. So any external company said that we will put our rigs and drilling rigs and all apparatus here, and they will test and blow everything away. So at least give us some comfort that you give us advance notice. So you gave us 15 days advance notice so that we can remove our rigs and other things. No. So they don't give clearance. Now these are our Indian problems. We create problems. Everywhere these things are settled. In fact, once the same cabinet secretary about 3 years ago, he was asking me, he said, how to solve this? I said, they have to work together, they have to give advance notice. Don't tell me that you are doing missile testing, where you will do this, that. Say that this, for operational reasons, we are giving you notice that from this time to this time, please do not work here. That's all. But they don't do. They say, no, we won't give anything. So, what is the secret? Everyone knows everything from the satellite. Only we don't know. In modern times, every square feet is measured.
Right.
Kya secret? So this is the problem. But Andamans has potential, and Cambay Basin has potential.
Yes.
Bombay High, Cambay Basin, that has potential. In fact, NICO, which was partnering Reliance, their people used to tell me that you should have more, both in Andaman side and here. Extension of Persian Gulf and extension of Indonesia. But we'll still be very, very, meager in terms of our resources. Unfortunately, oil and gas is where other resources are not there. water is not there, human resources are not there. Eh? And where human resources are there, water is there. There is no oil and gas. So that is the way distribution of resources has been made by nature. So we have to live with that. And we have to find our own solution, just as some other countries have found.
Now, Chaturvedi Sahib, I'd like to introduce this time Chaturvedi Sahib. We had a very fantastic insight into both what are the opportunities and what are the problems from Tripathi Sahib. Now we progress this discussion with Chaturvedi Sahib, who's with us. Sir, from your point of view, one is that there is no dearth of technological access, as we rightly have seen today in the discussions. The only problem looks like a geopolitical problem. So how do you see all this, basically heading a science and technology group, and not only that, in the economic sense, we now are very clear that we will need gas. We need to make friends with some countries like Qatar, as Tripathi Sahib said. Where do you see, we going? What is the type of thinking that persists both in government and intellectual circles that is actually either stopping us or not allowing us to move, or maybe we are just not moving?
Thank you, Professor Ayer. It's a great opportunity to be here with you. I'll just narrate way back in '89 when the World Energy Council had its meeting in Montreal. For the first time, they spoke on geopolitics of energy, and that was the first opportunity. And then they were preparing for the war in the Middle East because they wanted to control oil. And that time, the Energy Secretary was Schlesinger, and he said, "Look here, only those who have enough strength in their feet can control the resources under their feet." So what he meant was that only those who have that power will be able to control what you have under the earth. So they said, and then it went on. He spoke there for the first time for 1 hour. He made a big presentation, and he said that look here, this will be another very shortly. If USA has to go in big way, we will go in big way, but we have to secure our energy for our economy. 3 years later, the World Energy Council meets every 3 years, the Congress. Right. In '92, we had a meeting in Spain, in Madrid. Again, by that time, Russia had disintegrated. Right. And then the Energy Secretary then they again invited him to come and speak. He said, "Look here, the USSR has disintegrated, but it has just taken when our ambassador in USSR had sent a message way back in 1916, that is just a matter of after the revolution, it's a matter of time that USSR will disintegrate. It has taken 75 years. But we were expecting, so in 91 they have disintegrated. And we now know that USA can really and freely work in the Middle East as it wants, because there is no single power to counter us. And that's a road for us for energy security. And this is all documented. And from then onwards, every year the World Energy Council from '89 onwards, they started doing it. And every year this geopolitics of energy became an important thing. And that's how the World Energy Leaders Summit, really talking only on the geopolitics. But along with this geopolitics, we also have the technology and the financing. These are two very important issues. Every time we find that financing is we say that for most of the Indian companies can easily access financing. Way back in '93, '94, we had organized an international conference along with the World Energy Congress, and then we asked the World Bank to do a study on financing opportunities in India. And they came out and they made a presentation too, and they said, "Look here, you can expect that whatever the government of India may offer, about 20 to 25% of the costs coming in as a foreign investment, and these 20 to 25% costs are which are to be met locally for procurement of the equipment, for consultancy services and all other things to then support your program here. But if you think that FDIs and for large foreign investments will come into India for creating jobs for you in India, then please don't live in that wonderland." And yes, and then secondly, the second part of the report said very clearly, you have to improve your financial markets, strengthen your financial markets.
To make it attractive.
So to make it attractive, and your basic money will come from your financial markets, and this will not come just because you are asking the foreigners would come and give you. And the second part was that technology. They said whatever be the intergovernmental agreements, technology is not going to come to India for free. And hardcore technology in the commercial sector, in the mainly energy sector, this will only be transferred through the private transactions, and it will come with a cost.
Right.
And this we must fully realize. If we think that we can get a low cost technology, there is no one who is going to provide you for that kind of a technology. Now we wanted to do in the offshore East Coast. We thought that we'll get initially without prospecting. I mean, not the kind of serious prospecting which the international companies do. That was really not done. When we started exploring gas in the offshore East Coast, in the KG Basin. So we did some small work, but that was just not sufficient. And therefore we found that the gas availability was at a much higher depth than at which we were expecting, and they had quoted and they said that we'll be able to drill. The technologies that were to be generated, the international companies were willing to develop technologies for you, but at an astronomical cost. So they said, we are not going to put in our money, you put your money and tell us we'll do this, and then go ahead and we'll further do it. But on the other hand, as the story goes, that the Reliance and others who were interested, they wanted to show that there's large finds into the East Coast, and the hydrocarbons, the regulator for hydrocarbons, could ultimately certify. On that certification basis, the share price of Reliance went up more than 2 times, almost 2 to 3 times. And once the price in the market went up to 3 times, after that Reliance was really not interested in doing anything more.
Yeah.
Their job was done. Their job was done. They had collected money out of the market, and so they just flow. I mean, that's a very serious interrelationship. Very serious interrelationship between how our markets have grown and the kind of investments that they were supposed to do, they did not do. Now, if you look at on the other hand, the Anil Ambani group, when they went for the UMPP and they got the attached coal mine, suddenly they found that the coal was to be taken out at a much deeper depths. So they did import the equipment, they did import the technology, and they found that the cost for drilling and digging out coal was almost 2 times of what they thought would be the initial cost. But then the coal values are much higher. But our 80% of our coal, which has been auctioned, which have been mines which have been auctioned, 80% the proper prospecting has not been done. Yeah. But now at 176, when Vinod Rai said that because the UPA government's doing 176 lakh crores was being lost and all. So one day I had asked him, I said, look here, that formulae which is done for futuristic projections is really not for these kind of losses that you have worked on. Then he said, no, I have not done it. And in his book, he has also mentioned about it. Right. He's the highest bidder who came out for taking this, then he had multiplied and calculated that figure. But ultimately now here we find there has been such an aggressive bidding, and I really have my own doubts that if half of these people who have gone in for such an aggressive bidding will really be able to make any money out of the coal mines. Secondly, you find that recently the oil continued to flow in, and Saudi Arabia and Russians, they never reduced their production of oil.
Yes.
Strategically.
Yes.
And it has been documented. They have strategically done it. They said we want to keep the cost of oil at around $45,
yes.
But certainly below $60, because if this cost is at about $60 or low, there can be no exploration for shale gas.
Correct.
And the whole shale gas exploration, Alaska and all, is stopped.
Because of
It's
this.
totally stopped.
For sure.
Because they say that, I mean, there's no economics of it, and other places this all stopped. The whole thing is they say we'll make money later. Let us produce and then just do it.
That's the
So
strategy.
this ultimately the working out on the geopolitics and the costing of the whole thing is so important. Now when we were that time Tripathi Sir was the secretary in petroleum, we had the Integrated Energy Policy Committee with Dr. Parekh
That's right.
chaired. I was a member on that. We had very specifically said that look in the longer term, India has to also even for power generation, even if there are certain safety concerns in nuclear power, we have to see at least about 10 to 15% of the base power on this should come. Plus, we should also support the gas power for our base load or for the regular load. Plus, we should go in for the renewables. And again, the renewable must give us at least 10% of the power generation plus the other requirements. And accordingly, those projections were made. They were discussed and they were all done. And you'll find that most of these companies who have now set up, they had gone in according to the report, the projections of the report, how much gas will be available and how much of the systems will be done and all. And when the gas was not available and when these were really in soup, many of them when they approached the Secretary Power, they were, and the banks said that we have given all this money. They were coolly told it was you are exploring your business opportunity, I can do nothing about it. And then ultimately.
May I just interject here?
Right.
Mr. Shahi came to me. We had several meetings.
Yes, sir.
And he was preparing 2007 to 12 plan.
Yes, sir.
And he asked me how much additional gas will be available on certain basis for power plant. I said none. Mr. Shahi recorded that no new gas capacity in this plan because although KG Basin had been discovered and I was told by Mr. Mante Galwalia that the claims were that KG Basin is larger than Bombay High and South Basin taken together. I said, I don't think so. But anyhow, whatever it was. So we had told, even when KG Basin had been discovered and big claims were being made, we had told them that whatever KG Basin may give may be sufficient only for the existing plants, which were running lower capacity. The new plants, based on indigenous gas, which will be cheaper, we cannot give any assurance. So I think this was recorded, but even then, some plants were set up, mostly on Andhra coast.
No, I remember you did attend some of those meetings, and then you did mention about it. But then I'm saying that ultimately you'll find that all these power plants that have come up, then when the Secretary Power said these are your opportunities, then it had to be pointed out to him, look here, if all these companies close down, the banks have NPAs which are astronomically high, then your banks will collapse.
Sir, even GVK.
So
Look at
GVK is okay. Your SBI itself would have collapsed.
Absolutely.
So ultimately, then RBI looked into it and then restructuring of the loans. So right now the NPAs have come down, but what has happened is that loan is just restructured.
Absolutely.
So the loans stand for a longer payback period.
And for dead assets.
For dead assets. And that's one reason. If you'll see that the scheme for utilization of stranded gas-based projects, which is the government has now supported, I'd asked our colleagues in World Energy Council to make out a small presentation. Now we were expecting these plants to run at about 67 to 70% or 75% plant load factor. Now they're expecting if they run at about the scheme allows them to run at 25 to 30%. The RLNG,
that's right.
For the liquefied natural gas to be regassed and then to be used, they are allowing it 25 to 30%. And there again, for these just rehabilitating these plants, the government will have to put in somewhere about 7,000 crores in the next 3,000 crores during 15-16 and 3,500 crores in 16-17. And they're expecting that, look here, for 5 months during monsoon, it will work only at 25% plant load. and the remaining 7% is 30% plant load. This is where they are just now. We are in a very desperate situation that we have reached. Therefore, it is extremely necessary that once if we take a policy decision, that policy decision has to be really backed up and has to be thoroughly followed. That at every step, what all policies are, and these policies must be really based. They should really be based on very thorough investigations and prospecting. If we can't do it, and it cannot be, we must realize this cannot be done on administrative orders. I remember when Delhi had privatized, within 1 week, Chemtech had organized a seminar here. It was a very big thing. The Chief Minister came. I was supposed to speak first, then she was to speak. For some odd reason, she spoke first. And she said, I have already asked these companies to set everything right in 3 months, and you'll find that everything will be okay in Delhi. So after she finished, I said, madam, only thing is that you don't have any experience of working, hands-on experience in the power sector. Therefore, you're saying it. You leave aside 3 months. If in 3 years they are able to identify all the problems of distribution in Delhi and tell you where all rectifications are to be done, you should be very happy. She said, no, this can't be done. I will not allow them. I said, it's not a question of what you allow or what you don't allow. But practically, that is the situation. And again, you said they will bring all the money for rectifying equipment. I said, they cannot bring all the money. Your scheme for APDRP and all, they will have to allow these monies to be handed over to the private company to restore, to really change the equipment. Otherwise, why will they put their own money to rectify for you? It took 3-4 years before the government got into its senses that yes, through the state government it should be allowed. And then these are quite a few of those problems now. Delhi is suffering. We thought that we'll get enough gas, but none of these are power plants. The earlier gas-based power plants are running at a capacity of 25%. That's all. Those and the remaining gas plants are not working. They're closed. Dadri is closed. All such things. But we must have this long term. We must do proper. If we had done proper prospecting and we had done the long term possibilities and technology availability, that at the costing of the technology should have been done properly. If we are still living in the wonderland where we feel that intergovernmental exchange of technology could take place, it doesn't take place. We were in Montreal 3 years back. Mr. Mehta was also there. The World Energy Council. We just asked that when we had the nuclear liability bill, when it was going to the Parliament, we had appeared before the Parliamentary Committee, and we said that if you put it, all that you are doing is that you are leaving out all Indian companies out of manufacturing and supplying the equipment. Yes, right. They said, how can it be? I said, they would do it.
Now the Make in India pitch also needs this whole thing to be corrected.
So the question is, any time when they give the insurance cover, they ask for a collateral. And that collateral or even the loan, that collateral, that time the total capital, the capital of PHEL was about 2,000 crores or something of that kind. I said we can't set up even a 1,000 megawatt plant, even if the whole equity is being passed on to the company. And then, but then somehow or other, some of the members like Mr. Lalu Yadav and all, they thought that you are selling off these two other companies. Although there is an international agreement whereby we are paying 1% for the liabilities if should anything happen, will be covered. But then we should have really understood by putting this clause, we are throwing out our companies. And when we met in Montreal, they had all the topmost of the insurance companies were there, and they said, sir, we have no product to cover for 60 years. And we can give you in writing that we will not generate a product which will cover your nuclear power plant for 60 years, whether you set up your power plant or you don't set up. With our Minister for Power, Secretary Power, everyone being present there, and all of them said, so we are not going to cover any of the companies, whether India gets nuclear power or it doesn't get it. That's not for us to do it. So, I mean, we have to really we have not looked into those aspects. And these are, when you're buying and doing the commercial things, all these have to be very carefully looked into the policy matters. And right now, as we are seeing the Niti Aayog, instead of the overall planning, they're doing more of I don't know, doing a survey by some of these patchwork, and these surveys like McKinsey or some agencies. At this stage, when we are passing through a very critical phase, the government announced last year, but within 1 year, no government can bring around any revolutionary change in a country like ours. It takes almost at least 2 years to really see something on the ground. And that's why people say that you are promised and you are not able to show. At a time when all our power sector and gas and the whole energy sector is in a serious problem, I find that every one of the NTPC plants, the managers in all the 23 or whatever number plants, they are given a task to first install these shauchalaya.
Yes.
Under CSR, put that target, and I find when I talk to their EDs or the general manager in the plants, they say, "Sir, forget about how we are doing the plant. We have to complete this target before 31st July."
Yes.
Now we have to see what is our priority. Is power generation, putting things back onto the rail is our priority, or putting the shauchalaya as our priority? So, I mean, there are very, very many issues, but the power minister and the petroleum minister and coal minister, they must really look into it, where we are passing through a severe situation, and it cannot be Piyush Goyal Sahab makes big statements, but those statements have to be. Solar farms will come only when the government gives you the land.
Yeah, and we are in no position, I tell you, to deal with land
They
mafia.
can't be done on the
Except
commercial.
two states, I think they have found land.
Hanji.
One is
Rajasthan
Rajasthan,
to bilkul
other
hai.
is Gujarat.
Yeah.
Right.
So there the solar farms are coming up.
Only-
They have acquired
yeah.
land.
But government has
400.
acquired, sir. This is what I'm saying.
But
The
in
government has acquired.
other states, it is very difficult to acquire land now. There is no land available.
But you can buy on
Nahi,
commercial
sir.
rate and then set
You
up a
can't.
farm.
You can't.
इसमें सर एक problem है. If you skew the model to Gujarat and Rajasthan, what will happen is you will actually kick yourself in the butt. I tell you why. In Gujarat, they made the 214 megawatt solar park, and I was one of the special invitees when that launch happened on 19th of April 2012. Sarkar. Today, and that was built in 1 year. And Modi ji got a lot of publicity, and Pranab ji was that time the finance minister who helped him in that time, because he didn't even send the paper off to higher ups. He cleared the Gujarat acquisition of land. Otherwise, that would have been a non-starter. It became the largest solar park. We wrote about it. It's really a good project. Of course, all the products inside are Chinese because Indian manufacturing was not there. Sans this, where the efficiency problem is there, the plant, the entire solar park is a wonderful experiment. But what has happened to it, you see? Now, from that period, 2012, and today we are sitting here, crossing that April period in 2015. Only 40 gigawatt has been added, 35 to 40 gigawatt. So you must ask, I asked this question in black and white to the Prime Minister. Is Gujarat now stopped taking solar? So there is no answer coming from even the Gujarat minister. He is just quiet. In fact, he is discouraging solar. So this example of Gujarat, I don't have any hope, because the other bottleneck is, we know right now spoke that even 7,000 megawatt of evacuation cannot happen to a neighboring state of Maharashtra from Gujarat. When everybody blamed each other, politicking happened, right? So if you skew the model, like in coal we have done it, you put it in one state and started using the transmission line, even if you use HVDC, you will lose all that power down the line. 60% will be gone. I'll tell you, the biggest culprit is the state of Maharashtra where I live in. Today, the business of stealing of power is maximum in Maharashtra because the chicken hatcheries inside Nandurbar, they don't pay for any electricity.
Because they operate under agriculture.
Absolutely. So these are the issues, and then you are unable to tackle these issues, and you're still talking about long distance transmission and using all that solar in one skewed model of just putting in two states. So unless we have a dispersal model or a distributed model of solar, that means you find potential and divide it among states equidynamically, you will not see this solar action coming in. 100 gigawatt you may make in a skewed manner, but there will be no takers. That's the fear.
I'll just make one comment, last comment. All those who are into the transmission system, they would know internationally, wherever they're hooking on the solar onto the grid,
right,
or taking
or
tapping it off, the interfacing systems are extremely costly.
Absolutely.
We are assuming
Yes.
as you will put the wire and then
It's not going to happen.
It is not. It is very costly.
It's a bidirectional inverters.
On the lighter side, when Kejriwal said that I'll set up 20,000 CCTV cameras in Delhi, and then he just called, after he took over, he called his chief secretary and said, you just do it. Then they asked their technical department to work it out. This is, sir, the CCTV in the public places, they cost about 70,000 each.
Exactly.
He said, what 70,000? These are, if you see in the shops it is some 2,000, 3,000. I was thinking we'll spend that money and we'll do it. So these are certain things which costs when you try to do it in a systematic manner. People who have not realized that tapping this solar power, putting it onto the grid is a very costly affair. And this is why in Germany the prices that they were paying for the tapping, for giving the supply, they were very high. And here also people were earlier thinking you'll just do it simply. No, it's not simple. And this maintenance, it is such a delicate equipment that its maintenance is again, it needs highly technical manpower to handle it. So these are the problems.
Right. Let's get PK Garg sahab, I want you to lay the stress on, ये सारी bottlenecks तो पता है. Solution किस तरफ जाएगा?
Sir, if we look at the power end, basically looking at today the government's agenda, house for all, power for all. Now, house for all, one house, or on an average the housing industry, requires the input of 240 industries to make a house, starting from rural house to a multi-story urban house. Now these 240 industries can provide the input provided they get the power.
Right.
Which means the consumption of power, the pace at which they have to provide 12 crore houses by 2022, means the pace of housing growth has to increase by about 10 to 12% incremental over and above the growth rate which is today. And in order to have 10 to 12% growth in the housing sector, you need the input growth of the same order. And to have a 10 to 12% incremental growth in those input manufacturing sector, you need incremental 8 to 10% growth in the energy availability. Be it power, be it diesel power, be it gas power, be it coal power, be it solar power, be it hydropower.
Right.
Which means on over and above the existing rate of 6.5% in the power supply, it has to increase to something like 14 to 14.5% per annum. When we look at that number and we look at today, out of 2.67 lakh megawatts, the operative is hardly 1.5 and 1.6 lakh megawatt. So, where do actually we stand and how to improve? The solution lies in, because the consumer has to pay the fixed cost of this 2.5 lakh megawatts for availing 1.5 lakh megawatts which is generating.
Right.
And out of that 1.5 lakh megawatts which is generating, at times a large number of plants have to back down. Why? Because the DISCOM doesn't purchase. The DISCOM doesn't purchase because it doesn't have the purchasing power. It doesn't have the purchasing power because for every 100 unit that it buys, it is able to recover hardly 30 units. The gap is almost of 30%. The 23%, 24% is the national average for the AT&C losses. 4% is the transmission loss. Then there is a billing efficiency gap. There is a collection efficiency gap. So for the 100 rupees that it spends on power purchase, it is hardly able to recover 70 rupees. And this 30% or a 30 rupees gap is not a one-time phenomena. It is recurring every year. So the solution lies in, at this point, that the energy needs to be converted into money. That is, current needs to be converted into currency.
so that it can lead to further generation and more efficient utilization of the capacity. Energy efficiency, conservation of energy are other areas where there is a scope, but that is only on the margin. Yes, we must encourage energy conservation, energy efficiency, and that can bring down about 15% improvement in the overall availability of power through energy conservation and energy efficiency. At a very low cost, where the cost is not phenomenal or not even half of what we spent on the addition of energy. Now coming to the fuel part, I think we have the funniest of the funny model anywhere in the world. That is two things. Everywhere, more I sell, the more I have the economies of the scale and more is my profit. Here is a business model where more I sell, more I lose, more bankrupt I become. Number one. Number two, the recent coal auctions. You see, we have landed ourselves in a situation where the supplier in front of me says, gentlemen, I'll give you power, I will not charge for the coal, and I will also give you 1,000 rupees per ton extra. दुनिया में ऐसा कौन सा मॉडल है, ऐसी कौन सी इकोनॉमी है जिसमें कि वो फ्री कोल माइन करेगा, माइनिंग कॉस्ट इनकर करेगा, उस पर रॉयल्टी देगा, टैक्स देगा, सब कुछ बियर करेगा, पावर जनरेट करेगा और उसके ऊपर से आपको 1,000 रुपये और देगा. This is a situation which is going to further complicate and create a mess. The only idea was to fix and prove that 186 was wrong and we have earned 2 lakh rupees.
But why people have bid so high?
Exactly.
People have bid so high in the hope that they will be able to manage the government and recover the difference through the fixed cost. The day the first bids were placed, 3 private bidders talked to me and said, sir, we have bid this. I said, you have committed harakiri.
Yes.
They said, no, we will recover it through the fixed cost. I said, do you think the regulator who is sitting across the table, who will conduct a public, permit you to increase your fixed cost by 2 rupees? 10 paise, 15 paise, you can ask and on different grounds and giving and justification, public may agree. But during the public hearing, if you feel that you will be able to steer through the 2 rupees per unit increase through the fixed cost to recover your variable fuel cost, you are totally mistaken. And within a week or 10 days after that conversation trickled through, the government came with a directive that no increase in fixed cost. And they have advised the regulators to put a cap on the fixed cost.
Now, I think they will be now looking for selling the extra coal.
No, there is no extra coal. No, they can't.
They can't sell that also.
A, there is no extra coal. B, they cannot sell. And the net result is most of them are thinking of getting their bank guarantees and cash.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. This is what
Because if they don't do it over the 25 years for that 6,000 megawatt power for which they had bid the coal mines, the loss is 96,000 crores.
Exactly.
Vis-a-vis getting their bank guarantees and cashed. Now the banks have raised their hands and banks have written to them, gentlemen, please take back your bank guarantee. We are not in a position to honor it because of your already outstanding on the power sector.
Right.
Even the encashment of bank guarantee has run into a problem. So that is where we stand as far as the power and fuel and coal is concerned.
Statistic, in the regulated sector, out of, I think, 1,170 million tons which went into auction, regulated means the power sector, almost about 750 million tons. The winning bidders have gone to court to get their winning bid cancelled.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
And in the non-regulated sector, that means which was supposed to be meant for cement and steel, 46% coal auctions have gone to aluminium sector and who need just 2% of the auction coal.
My God.
So this is the case.
Then aluminium will put a captive power plant and then sell the power,
Yes. That's right.
No,
like the Balco
but this is not so well
in
known.
Dalco.
You are saying that those who have gone for regulated tariff, which is power, those kinds of mines which are reserved for regulated tariff, and there is a linkage between the Coal India price and their price, I think. They are all going to court for cancellation, or they are going to get their bank guarantees invoked so that they don't proceed?
No, they are going for cancellation so that they can escape the bank guarantee.
Exactly.
They are going to court for cancellation.
Cancellation of their contract. The bank guarantee is not encashed.
Subject of cancellation is they wanted to put, I think, about 65 paisa per unit in the fixed cost, and government has put that with
But
that
this is
logic
not
they are
known.
going.
So why don't you people write some articles in newspapers?
It's going to come up now.
I will give you the full presentation on this.
Right.
See, there was a similar case of telecom auctions when companies like Hindustan Futuristic, they bid 85,000 crores,
FCL,
etc.
HFCL.
And government realized that this is unrealistic, this is not feasible. So, but it was, before CVC, CAG and everybody became very active. So at that point of time, I think 1998, 99, 2000, what they did was, which was, a very good thing to have done, very pragmatic thing. With the advice of the then Attorney General, Soli Swarajji, they converted to a revenue sharing model from a auction, this kind of thing. So since there is already a precedent, so I think, public opinion should be mobilized, at least from the informed circles, that this is a no-go area, otherwise this will not work, and the government should find a solution based on the earlier precedent of
Exactly.
telecom.
Revenue sharing model, which was 2G and 3G, is a unique example in front of us. What happened in 3G? Government became rich by 1 lakh
Prime Minister
crores.
has gone ahead and said that states will get revenue of.
All those things.
Those political statements. So
Those are all political
those are all political statements. Have no.
But here, if we are people, at least some of us are who are able to understand these things clearly. So there is a responsibility on them to inform the public and inform the decision makers, the opinion makers, because this is not so widely known. Everybody is taking credit, and the person, the coal secretary, in fact, he had worked with me for several years. He's a very enterprising, adventurous person. I had to sort of pull him back and moderate him some time. So he has been saying all over, and everybody in all this 1 year achievement, the first achievement they are saying is, we have got so much of money.
No way, sir, no way.
So I think the people who understand what has been behind this and how this will work out, and really actually in practice what will happen, they have a responsibility to the public at large to inform them.
I agree.
So this is one reason when Professor Iyer called me up that I should come. I said, if you want to create awareness about it, right, we'll come and speak about it.
That's exactly the point.
And that's the point, that we want to let the government know, people know, and tell the government that, look here, you are going into the dark, don't do it. So recently, I had with the coal secretary, we had that CPSI had that meeting, Mr. Sachdev's conference. He came and he said, he spoke 4 times. He said, the government, for last 1 year, I'm just clearing the muck which has been created by the earlier government. After 4 times, and earlier secretary was there. You were there at the meeting. So after that, I told him.
He's very, he remains, he's very enthusiastic.
Very
enterprising, adventurous. He has to be somebody has to moderate and pull him back also, because he sometimes, his point of view, it may have done wonderfully well, because he is coal secretary, not power secretary. Right. But the minister, prime minister and finance minister, they all taking credit. I think that part must be brought out in the open.
So it will create a very serious embarrassment to the government.
You might have read.
It is better to cause embarrassment now than to cause,
give a practical way ahead.
That is why only 29 blocks. After that,
so much to the credit of Mr. Vinod Rai in his book, that not only just an accountant, he has analyzed things. He has put them down as to how the formula to be used.
I was told that in the regulated sector, they were asked to make bid on the condition that their price will be related to Coal India price, which today is this. So you find out what is the benefit you get from this? You bid, but you are tied to the Coal India price because this is a regulated area.
Sir, we had
So why
given
have they bid so high?
So, Tripathi sir, I just want to tell you, we had given a suggestion to this very government when it came initially on this issue. हमने कहा था price discovery achieve करिए. That means you stick the price to about 1 or 2 years platform.
But you know, each mine
You know,
is different.
नहीं नहीं वो ठीक है सर. आप
So
एक
they
average
cannot have a price
देखिए.
discovery of that kind because each mine is different. The cost of bringing out coal, the quality of coal, they are all different.
Agreed. What I am trying to suggest is you know predominantly region wise, just like the hydro, you know region wise what is the quality of the coal, and you have a benchmark
But,
price
you know,
for that.
I think the bidders have gone wrong. I
The-
mean, you
100%,
can't find
sir,
fault
bidders
here
have
with the
gone wrong.
government.
No,
You
no,
must
this is
inform
right,
the
sir.
government that this will lead to this thing. So please start working on a formula how to
Exactly.
make it workable.
Sir,
I think
sir,
that
All that, what the private sector, the folly they have committed is, they went overboard with the
Yes.
confidence they'll be able to manage the government.
Government, that's all.
Which is
This
the first
big
thing.
to manage the
And they said,
government.
कोयला तो एक बार कब्जा करो, बाकी बाद में
बाकी
देखेंगे.
देखते
हाँ,
हैं.
बस
वो तो
ये माइंड पकड़ लो बस.
ability to
No, we'll go
inform.
forward, sir, with a white paper. There is no
Please.
question about this.
I think one positive outcome of this, this conclave that we have had is that some of you please get down to writing a
Yes.
technical report on this.
We'll do a white
And-
paper,
Because
sir.
and
it is
I'll-
an informed report.
I'll give you the clue
That's it.
why the industry went with that overconfidence. Because the case on bidding for power,
Right, with the central government also.
central government, the Adanis and Tatas, they had given the case on bidding, even Lanco's, case on bidding where the price of the power to be supplied at the bus bar is fixed for 25 years.
Right.
And when these fellows were bidding, I had put the question across to them. I said, who are your economists? Who was your CFO? How he has presumed that during the 25 years there will be no increase in your employees' cost, there will be no increase in your inflation, there is no increase in your maintainables and operables and your operational expenditures.
What is the costing method you say?
Levelized.
No, it's not a levelized tariff. No, even the levelized tariff doesn't presume that it will remain constant for 25 years.
Levelized tariff. They only bid for levelized tariff.
But now they're bidding for yearly tariff.
You see, you only.
But you see, in your case one bidding, it is frozen for 25 years.
I'm talking of the case one bidding.
It must be levelized.
Tariff. In first year the tariff will be high and gradually it will go down.
So it will be levelized because that is the terminology used in power sector. All they are all levelized.
You are confusing case 2 and case 1 bidding. What you are
I don't
talking
know.
is levelized tariff is in case 2 bidding.
Like case, I don't know about case.
Case 2 is
case one
where,
में sir fixed
where
cost
the government
सही
has
कह
given
रहे
you
हो.
the coal mine, that is Sasan.
Fixed cost था.
Because
उस
I
पे बड़ा
conducted
line बहुत बड़ी हुई
the
है.
bidding.
They want an increase in cost.
The government gives you the
Saying is
land,
right.
all clearances and the
bilkul,
coal
bilkul.
mine and ask you to give a bid which will be a levelized tariff for 25 years.
That's right.
With what cost you feel will vary over a period of time which is to be notified by the CERC. And this levelized tariff is adjusted for the two factors. One is the operating cost, which is your manpower and
O&M, that's right.
O&M, and the interest cost or exchange rate variation, which you have to repay from year to year. The rest is all your levelized tariff fixed for 25 years. Then there is a case one bidding.
Case one bidding, you are selling the power only.
Sir, उसी में
नहीं,
तो
उसी में तो गड़बड़ है
problem
ना।
है. The problem is there only. In case one bidding, the provision is that the government doesn't ask you what technology you are using, because in that case two bidding, the technology is prescribed. You have to use supercritical 600 and above. You can't put a lower capacity plant.
Absolutely.
And you have to have only itne percent of the what you call as a captive consumption, and all other parameters are laid down. So he has to quote the tariff keeping in view those parameters and technology. Case one is free for all. By
Exactly.
you do whatever you do, beg, borrow or steal.
But
Tell
tariff
me
ही
at
है.
what rate you will supply power for next 25 years.
But there must be some inflation.
ना उसमें नहीं है, नहीं है inflation.
वो इसीलिए तो गए ना.
That is where the
They
flaw
asked
is.
for an increase and they were not given.
And that is where I asked them, I said, gentlemen, who is your CFO, who has permitted you, or who has advised you to give a fixed tariff for 25 years?
सर यही हुआ सर. टाटा ने भी यही किया सर.
And
टाटा
that-
ने भी यही किया.
And that is
Not only
where,
Reliance.
that is where the Lanco and Adanis, They had gone to CERC, put across it, all sorts of arguments, and the CERC agreed to open the PPA.
Exactly.
And once a PPA is open, I mean, this is throwing a cat among the pigeons, because it basically challenges your Indian Contract Act right from 1890.
Exactly.
Because you have a contract, and the moment you open the PPA, you have destroyed the contractual sanctity. But this has been done, and the compensatory tariff has been allowed. That was the trigger which everyone thought we'll be able to manage and get it. Let us corner the coal.
The same situation is there now with the coal acquisition.
So anyway, please inform the public. You see, you must understand, the government does not lead the public opinion. The public opinion leads the government.
Exactly.
Unless you understand this, you will never succeed in sectors which are related to common man. It is all right for a refinery, it is all right for petroleum exploration, which the public does not directly see, does not affect public directly. But when you are selling refinery products, or when you are selling power which public directly comes across, then it is the public opinion which influences government, not this way around. Because we don't have leaders of that kind. कि नेहरू जी ने कर दिया, कह दिया तो सब लोग मान गए. That does not happen now. Therefore, please inform the public. These fellows are not leaders. Those who are governing us, they are not really leaders. They are followers. आप देखते हैं एक मीडिया में कोई बोलता है, दूसरे दिन हाथ जोड़ करके मीडिया वाले के सामने खड़े हो जाते हैं. So these people, they have no confidence in themselves. They cannot tell the public, inform the public, motivate the public. Leader is who can motivate the public to do something which is not ordinary leader. They are otherwise, they are led by the public. So therefore, go directly to the public.
Right. I now request Dr. Khanna. Khanna sir, three things out of this. One is the very important point that has come out, that we must now generate a kind of a white paper document which can help the government to find a direction and not retain this problem forever, which has happened in the past. So we have to correct it, as Tripathi sir has rightly said. Now from the international perspective, why the gas fellows, see, there has been a very big problem of giving gas to India. Even we are trying and we are talking about it and we are finding same problem. So what are the bottlenecks? How the international gas at reasonable price, or both the long-term contract, fundamentally the long-term contracting of gas, let us say with Qatar or other such economies, what is the bottleneck that stops us? Where it is stalling? What is the international view in this?
Thank you very much, Professor, and thanks to my pre-speakers. I think they had made some very interesting points here. And I was just thinking, what is the common sense behind it, Because we have discussed about price mechanisms, we have discussed about policies here, and then we have discussed about regulatory part, So thinking about it and looking at a common business sense and seeing the demand which is there and how do I satisfy my public, because the public opinion is going to be very important. I've been just thinking how, because somebody said, where's the solution? The solution actually is to give practical solutions to solve the need of the people over here, actually. So the need of the people is basically, okay, give them the power. How to give them the power? And then, you very rightly pointed out, convert it into money, because that is going to be the incentive for the power generation and for the power supply. Otherwise, why should anybody generate power or supply power, actually? That's common business sense. Second part, which I think is penny wise, pound foolish on the long run, excuse me for saying it, we want to regulate everything and we want to bring the cost down. But it is, if I think practically from the macro and from the micro sense, I'm looking at an opportunity cost which I'm changing into a sunk cost all the time, actually. So that third part, when I look at the utilization and we are saying we are going to utilize a PLF of 25 to 30%, doesn't make sense to me at all, because this is so stupid, excuse me for saying it, I'm putting a plant today with efficiencies of 80 to 90%. And then I'm looking at all these scenarios, and still I'm deprived of power. And now I have a power plant over there, and I'm saying, okay, I'll use it for 25%. How I'm going to get a payback on that? There's no way to get a payback on that. If I really think of that. So business sense, it doesn't make any sense to me. Excuse me for saying it. Now comes your question, Professor. What is the international thinking? Yeah, international thinking is, I want to do business with a country which can afford to do business with me. Simple as that. Can they pay my bills? Or can't they pay my bills? If they are haggling all the time about cost, and I have other buyers who are prepared to pay a higher price, then why should I give it to them? This is the normal thinking of any business person today. So if I'm going to have only regulations, and if I'm just going to cut costs and say everything has to be cheap, then I'm not giving any incentive to anybody to do any business here. And that is a major issue. So I have to think about it. What is my business model? How I'm going to satisfy the economy? How I'm going to grow my economy? Because that is the opportunity cost which I'm losing in the long run. And I have to think about that in my life, because I have to give people the basic necessities so they can fulfill their basic needs, actually. And power, I was yesterday in Pune. I was looking at an industrial plot where we are going to put I'm advising a German automotive company to put a plant over there. It's a 5-star hotel. Electricity within that 2 hours went for 10 times, We were in the dark, Every time the DG sets are coming. It is so stupid to use DG sets, excuse me for saying it, because the cost of diesel is so high in comparison to my power generation, so I am not efficient at all, so this is it. So if I look at general business sense, looking at my efficiencies, looking at how I'm going to do business, I'm dying today. I need a doctor to operate me. I'm not going to ask what is going to cost me. Please operate me and let me live. That's a major answer, and I think I have to do that. And I have to take a decision to do that, actually. And this is the way it should be worked, and not debate about it and discuss about it. If your child is dying, you're not going to debate about it. You're going to go and beg to the next doctor, please treat my child. And it's the same thing. This country, the children are dying here, so we treat them. That's the way to do it, actually, and take decisions to do it. And don't think too much about it. What is the counter product of this if I regulate this? Because that debate will never end. So action is required. Not too much of talking is required. This is my personal thinking. Excuse me. So that's all what I want to say.
Very good,